Hi guys, so I am recording this with my Galaxy Note 5 with my Lanparte stabilizer in 1080p. You can do 1440p, but it does have a 5-minute limit, so I'm using 1080p so I can go longer. Anyway, today let's go ahead and talk about the LG V10. Alright, this is the bigger brother of LG G4 that LG just announced a few hours ago. There's actually a couple hands-on videos. I've actually took a look at it. So we pretty much know what the phone is going to be like. So it's basically a larger device than the LG G4 with a 5.7-inch screen. Also, it has a second screen on top of the main screen that acts as notification center, app shortcuts. That's going to be interesting, but it is located on the top of the phone, which sort of makes it useless compared to something like, let's say, S6 Edge Plus, where it's on the sides and it's easy to access it with one hand. But when your screen's off, you'll be able to see your notifications without wasting the battery life. So we'll see how useful that is, and also LG may come up with some creative cases for it. So it will all depend. Maybe they'll have a circle case with the little screen that you can use. So that's going to be very interesting. Number two thing that is interesting with the LG V10 is that it has two front-facing cameras with each 5 megapixel. So you can actually take two photos in two different angles, slightly different angles, sort of like that. So that's going to be really cool, and you'll be able to also take ultra-wide 120-degree selfies with the two cameras stitched up. Now, does it have video mode with that wide angle stitched up? If they can do that, that could be a killer front camera that could eclipse the wide angle that I'm using on the Note 5. Alright, the third thing that it has a rear camera, f1.9, just like the LG G4, pretty much has everything same. One thing different is with the video. You'll have a new Pro manual mode that you'll be able to control the white balance, exposure. Now, they didn't say you can control the shutter speed, which I think is the point of having manual mode for videographers or people make a lot of videos like myself. But if it does have shutter speed control, it could potentially be a better video camera than the Note 5. Alright, as far as pricing goes, I feel like this price should be around maybe like $550. Since the LG G4, I think you can get one now for about $450 for a brand new device. So add like $100 on top for the extra features. I think $550 or $600, I would get one. But if it's any higher, I think it will have a tough time selling just because LG is not as of a known brand. Now, one thing it does have advantage over the Note 5, it does have a removable back, removable battery, and microSD card slot. You can actually expand up to 2 terabytes if you buy a 2 terabyte microSD card. So that is really cool for those of you who need to use your phone all day long. You can simply swap out the battery. The battery size, I think, is not huge, but it's not a problem so long as you have a removable battery. That's going to make it the ultimate phablet. The Nexus 6P doesn't have a removable battery in the 5.7-inch class. Actually, none of the phones that came out this year with a 5.7-inch screen don't have a removable battery. More important than the microSD card option. So that LG has going for them, so I really like it. They could become the new Samsung. As far as the timing of the release, I just feel like they could have waited till March. They may have pre-ejaculated, just like the Samsung. Just wait a little bit longer and put a better processor like the Qualcomm 820. Instead, it has the same processor as the 808 with 4 gigs of RAM. I think as far as processing power, I mean, you're not going to have problems, but we all want to, if we're going to spend more than $500, $600 on a brand new smartphone, you want to have the latest thing that just came out. 808, 810 came out like beginning of this year, so it's really aging, and we're right at the time, you just wait till next year, beginning of next year, we're going to have these new phones with 20 to 30% faster performance. Especially with the Qualcomm 820, there's actually already Antutu benchmarks. I think it was showing almost like 80,000. So that's huge improvement over the Note 5's Exynos 7420. So as far as, is this a device that we're going to buy? I'm not sure. I'll definitely have to get hands on it. For right now, I think it's definitely a better device than the LG G4. If you're thinking about getting the LG G4, then I would probably go with the LG V10 instead if you want a slightly larger device. One of the things that I had complaints with the LG G4, it is a phablet, but it's not really a phablet. Like the Note 5 is 5.7 inches and the G4 is what, 5.5 inches. So it's sort of a middle device. It's not like a big phablet device, it's a small phablet, something between a small phone and a large phone. So in that sense, I feel like the LG V10 really hit the, it really nailed it to the sweet spot for phablet class. So that could be why, LG G4 isn't selling as well. So because people really, if you want to get a large screen, you want a large screen without going too large. And I just think 5.7 inches the sweet spot because a lot of you are used to the Note series, which are 5.7 inches. It doesn't have S Pen features, so compared to the Note 5, you're not going to have any of those S Pen features. Overall, it's going to be a good phablet device. It really going to boil down to the pricing. And if they can, make it competitive, I think it's definitely a better phone than the Nexus 6P, and even without looking at it. But will I be paying, will I be willing to pay $200 more for it? Maybe $100 more. I think a fair price would be $599. They can make like $550. It would be pretty good. With the LGs, they also drop in price pretty quickly these days. The LG G4 only $450 now. So maybe just wait a couple months and get that. And by that time, there'll be a newer device with Qualcomm 820, so it's going to be really cool. Anyway, I just want to give you my quick thoughts on it. What do you think about the LG V10? What do you think about it versus the new Nexus 6P? With all these new phones coming out, which one are you going to get right now? My bet is right now on the Nexus 6P, even with the LG V10 out. I just think the pricing, the way they're going to price, is going to be much higher, like a flagship device. So, the Nexus 6P still, I think, wins. But do let me know what you think in the comment box below. I have more stuff coming, like the Amazon Fire tablets I've been working on here. Also, I have the Chromecast comparison video coming up later today. So, stay tuned. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, or Google+, Instagram, Periscope. And as always, stay high on Android.